Hey guys, Tarke here, and this is my Ascendancy video. I've waited until everything is out, and we're going to talk about all of the changes. I'm going to start off with Gladiator, because Gladiator is the best, and people don't understand why Gladiator is the best. So Gladiator has better Tailwind. If you remember a certain Raiders faster, Raiders faster. Basically, yeah, this, but Gladiator. So at maximum charges, and it's easy to maintain maximum charges, you have 20% more attack and movement speed. So that's a more multiplier. So that's more, not increased. It is insane. It is litty bitty. Sucking them exclamation marks. So that's lit. And then gratuitous violence and blood in the eyes is also lit. So blood in the eyes gives you blind, right? Sab is really strong because Sab has blind, right? Like, we're like, Sab blind, nice, right? Nice. So it's like Saboteur, and it's like Deadeye. Big bleed explosions. Pew, 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 pew. But Tarke, you can just use hemophilia gloves. This is better than hemophilia gloves, and then you don't need to use a pair of gloves. You get to use other gloves. So this means that you get to use a pair of gloves with life. Or you can use, Abyss gloves and then have Abyssal jewels. Like, these are nice. The bad thing about gratuitous violence is it doesn't proc on Legion encounters. That kind of sucks. But otherwise, this is really good. This is a very good node. These are very good nodes. Having Tailwind and then having like 78% block, 78% spell block, that's pretty fucking broken. Gladiator is really good. Most people should be playing Gladiator. I can guarantee you a lot of racers are going to be playing Gladiator. Gladiator is great. Champion is really good. I can guarantee that Champion is fuego. So there's some pretty cool things in here. So Inspirational gives you a free banner. The new Blood Magic with Mortal Conviction gives you a free 50% aura. So that plus that is like free shit. Tasty. This Impale stuff is ridiculous. I think Molten Shell is going to be beyond broken. And you get plus 1k armor here. And then plus 1k armor here. So that's just like 2k free flat armor. Jug. No. Champion. These nodes are all litty. This is good. This is all good. Like, every single node here is really good. People are really excited for Overwhelm. Overwhelm is amazing. Bow Slayer is going to be huge. People aren't appreciating how good Endless Hunger is, though. Endless Hunger gives you stun and bleed immune for a 2-pointer with upside with the overkill. Ignoring that, just having that 2-point bleed and stun is insane. I would say most bow builds should be going for Overwhelm, Headsman, Bane of Legends, Endless Hunger, and if you want to be extra tanky, drop Bane of Legends for Brutal Fervor. Brutal Fervor is still a very good node. Having Overleech for 5 seconds is good. I'm going to give you some context. So basically, while you have Overleech active, you never die. Okay then, so you're never dying. So are you hitting an enemy once every 5 seconds? If the answer to that is no, you're not playing Path of Exile correctly. And before anyone says, but Tarke, I don't enjoy playing Path of Exile correctly, that's on you. So, getting into Headsman. Headsman gives 10% more damage if you've killed recently, and then 20% more damage against unique enemies. This is 30% more damage, quite easy to maintain on bosses, especially if you're going Brutal Fervor, since you use the Worm Flask to maintain the overkill. So if you're going for the very tanky boss setup, you'd be going for like Overwhelm, Headsman, Brutal Fervor with a Worm Flask, and having that Fizz Reflect is very nice physical builds. Bane of Legends got buffed pretty substantially in a few different ways. So having 20% cull is good. It's bad against bosses because a lot of bosses can't be culled. But they've made rares a lot tankier, which has made the cull more noticeable while mapping. So that's nice. This no longer gives you Onslaught. It now just gives you attack and movement speed, meaning you can get this and Onslaught. This is really nice. This node, you take this node if you're playing Cyclone. It gives you extra Cyclone. And Masterful Form is strong, but not as strong as people think it is. So the way that Masterful Form works is you have maximum endurance charges equal to your maximum frenzy charges. If I have 10 frenzy charges, I don't have 10 endurance charges. I have the chance to get up to 10 endurance charges. So this just increases the cap. It doesn't actually give you those charges. This is really good. This is really shit. That'll be changed in 3.8. Coming over to this side of things, they changed unyielding. It's slightly more yielding. Berserker is in a really nice spot. Berserker's got quite a few different things going on. You're always going to take Aspect of Carnage because it is 40% more damage. That's like an extra like support gem. I would recommend that most people go for Aspect of Carnage, Blitz, and Crave of the Slaughter. That's what I would recommend for most builds. You could also go for Rite of Ruin and Blitz, but then you're missing out on this. So most people should be going Aspect, Crave, Blitz. So, Flawless Savagery. 80% increased critical strike chance for attacks. 20 to 30 flat fizz to attacks if you've dealt crit recently. There's loads of flat fizz to attacks just being thrown around left, right, and center. A bunch of multiplier. These mini nodes also give crit chance. Blitz. This at maximum stacks, since you have 20 stacks, is up to 40% more attack speed. You have reduced crit. That doesn't really matter because you get 110% crit from these 3 points. So it's just a wash. It's like a power charge or two. It's nothing. This is going to be busted for Ellie Hit. Ellie Hit Berserker does big damage. Any build which just scales off attack speed and nothing else really, go Berserker. Going Blitz, Aspect of Carnage is going to be disgusting on Ellie Hit. Crave the Slaughter gives you inbuilt rage generation without having to use a support gem or anything. And then it gives you chance to deal double damage per 4 rage. This is 12% more damage. That's how it maths out. This more double damage doesn't get multiplied by this. That is just 12% more damage. It's good. Rite of Ruin. So, lose 0.1% of maximum life per rage while you're not losing rage. So, if you are like hitting enemies, if you're gaining rage, then you have the degen. But ideally, you're leeching or something. But it's still a bit annoying to play with. And then effects of rage are tripled, and you get the stun immune. Stun immune is very strong. And the attack speed, attack damage, and movement speed is multiplied by crazy. Rite of Ruin is a really, really good node. But Blitz, Crave the Slaughter, and Aspect of Carnage is just better in my opinion. Warbringer is a decent node as well, but it's just not as good, but it's slightly better. So yeah, nice, but a bit boring because you're basically always just going to take these points. I don't know. Oh, and this node also exists. Getting into Chieftain. Chieftain's in a very good spot. Very good Ascendancy. Very niche Ascendancy, but I like everything about it. This node is sick. So this gives you 0.5% maximum life regen per endurance charge. Very good for a build which theoretically did fire damage and wants a lot of endurance charges. 3% more damage for each endurance charge lost recently, up to 15, and +1 endurance charges. The new Immortal Call looks kind of interesting. I think the new Molten Shell will probably be better, but you could just be spamming Immortal Call to keep this damage buff going. Pretty good. Forest Strength. 35% chance to gain an endurance charge when you use a fire skill. Notable fire skills are Flame Dash and Molten Shell, which will be used on most builds. So you don't need to be playing a straight fire build. You can be using utility skills to proc this. Increased physical damage, increased fire damage per charge. That's very strong. War's Herald. 1% of damage dealt by your totems is leached to you as life. 50% increased effective buffs granted by your active Ancestor totems. Ancestor totems have 100% increased activation range. To clarify what this means, because I was a little confused when I first read this, that is the range at which they're active in regards to your character. So if you walk too far away from the totems, they just do nothing. Now you can be further away from them, so you can drop them further ahead and you can run away quicker. That's what that means. Also, 25% increased area while you have a totem. Very nice if you're playing Ancestral Warchief. However, I do still think a lot of people are doing Ancestral Warchief Totems Champion to get the taunt on hit stuff. Tasty. Cleansing Water is a very good node. 100 fire res, 2% life regen, 10% of fizz damage from hits taken as fire damage, 50% increased life recovery if you've taken fire damage from an enemy hit recently. It's basically if you've been hit, unaffected by Ignite. Keep in mind, if you were playing some kind of theoretical build which was stacking fire resistance, you wanted regen, and you wanted to increase the recovery rate of your life regen, I think this could maybe be a really good node if that kind of a build ever exists. Getting into Moon's Presence, totems are immune to fire damage if you're doing 100% fire conversion or just straight fire totems. This means they're reflect immune. That's very strong. Enemies near your totems deal less damage. Enemies near your totems take increased physical and fire. Very, very good node. Amazing node. This node is the weirdest node of all of them, in my opinion. 25% chance to ignite, 15% more burning damage. Damage penetrates 15 fire res. Very few builds need both penetration and burning. It's kind of like if you're doing an Ellie Overload Incinerate or something. Very niche. Most people will take this just for the burning damage for this theoretical burning life regen build that doesn't exist. Hinakora's Death Fury is amazing. 1% of fire damage leeches life. This works for spells. And then 20% chance to cover rare or unique enemies in Ash for 10 seconds on hit. Ash is a 20% more multiplier and slows down enemies. Also still gives you increased strength. Very, very good. Namahu's Flames Advance is also a node. 50% physical damage converted to fire damage is good. Every 10 seconds gain 100% physical damage as extra fire for 4 seconds. Very strong. Very, very strong. Very niche. Very strong. Swinging around to this way to the best build in the game, Trickster. This node is still broken, and they haven't changed how LE conversion works. They have made Shroud rarer, but this is still busted broken. This is still a really good node. 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 If you delete these 4 points, Trickster is still amazing, but let's get into these points. So, Ghost Dance. You now generate a Ghost Shroud every 2 seconds instead of every 1 second. This is still, like, broken. It's still really good. I think I agree with what Rise said. He thought it'd be every 3 seconds. I think every 3 seconds would be balanced. I think this is still very strong. Escape Artist. Still gives you a shit ton free energy shield. That's good. You now get 6% increased attack and cast speed instead of 12%. That hurts. You lose 18% attack and cast speed overall. But it's not that big of a deal in the grand scheme of things. It still has cannot be stunned. And you went from 20% spell dodge to 10%. That's the thing that hurts it the most. Of all of these changes, losing 10% spell dodge is really the only thing which kind of like goes, ooh. Everything feels fair. I still think Trickster is going to be the de facto pick for most spellcasters, especially considering they've nerfed some of the other choices. Elementalist. Elementalist is still a good Ascendancy in the same way that Raider is a good Ascendancy. It's just when you compare it to everything else, it just feels kind of shit. So Beacon of Rune is a good node, right? Like, it's a good node, but it doesn't have Prolif anymore, so it's not broken. It's just, like, a good node. And then a lot of the other nodes in Elementalist, like, a lot of the 2-pointers feel pretty weak. So, yeah, it's just... it's okay. Getting into Occultist. So, they removed Wicked Ward from Occultist. It's now on the tree. This is a buff to Hybrid Trickster, by the way, since Trickster has 70% increased recovery rate of Energy Shield. So this is another buff to Trickster. So this is nice. This is nice for Trickster. This is less nice for Occultist. They've also removed the 150 flat ES from Val Bastion, and it now gives you up to 10% regen from 30. So Occultist lost 250 flat Energy Shield, 20% Energy Shield recharge, and then it also lost percentage Energy Shield from all of its nodes. That really hurts for ES. They also kind of fucked up this routing, so this now just gives flat Energy Shield, and then this node is percent. This really hurts. That being said, Malediction is still broken, Profane Bloom is still broken, Void Beacon is a good node, Withering Presence is a very good node for some builds, and Frigid Wake is a very good node for some builds. So most people are just going to be playing life-based. You could also do hybrid-based. You could also do Eldritch Battery. Eldritch Battery is good. Hybrid is good. If I was going to play a CI build, I wouldn't do it as Occultist. I would do it as something else. But this is a good node. These are all really good nodes. Less good. So yeah. Scion actually saw some very minor changes. Berserker from Scion is actually pretty sexy. So it has 15% more damage in there. It has the Rage inbuilt, which is very strong. And it has the Cannot Be Stunned, which is all very good. Really, really nice, actually. Not champion. Glad is also pretty nice. Gladiator has 15% chance to block attacks, 15% chance to block spells, +3 to maxim, and 10% chance to blind on hit. That's pretty good. If this was global, like 10% chance to blind on hit with like spells and stuff, that's crazy good. Crazy good. Yeah, this is actually a good node. This is a good node. And the champion one is pretty sick as well. So this has enemies taunted by you take 10% increased damage. That's 10% more damage in there. Your hits permanently intimidate enemies on full life. That's another 10% more, so that's like 20%. Then it has Impale in there as well. And has chance to get Fortify on hit. Like, this is good. This is good. This is good. And you're not going to take it, though, because this is less good. So to summarize the Ascendancy changes, I agree with basically all of them. I feel bad for Elementalist. And I'm really not looking forward to doing a review of this part of the skill tree, because there's a lot of stuff in this part of the skill tree. Play Trickster, by the way. Trickster is broken as feels bad man assassin. I'm Tarke. Have a good day. Bye-bye.